All right, so need to call the meeting, the Plat Committee meeting to order. Do the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with justice for all. Okay, so we're going to do roll call.
Ms. Stoller, Mr. Taylor,
Present.
Ms. Schaefer.
Here.
Thank you.
And having a change in the board, the committee, have the oath of office for Megan Schaefer.
Megan, if you would, the designation of the spot that you're filling is the one that's the Director of Planning, and so that's with Tony's retirement, for lack of a better word. That is now you and your promotion, so that is your position under the code. So what we need you to do is raise your right hand and read that paragraph of the oath, and then sign the oath and hand it to Ms. Pranky.
I, Megan Schaefer, being duly sworn upon my oath, state that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the state of Indiana, and that I will faithfully and impartially discharge the duties and accept the responsibilities as a member of the City of Fishers Plat Committee, and that I will observe and obey all the laws relating to said position now in force, or which may hereafter be amended or enacted during my term of service. Further, by evidence of my signature below, I acknowledge and consent to the fact that this oath shall become of record and recorded as proof of my acceptance and commitment to my service appointed to the City of Fishers.
Now that that's signed, can we move on to the next item? All right. We are due to the vacancy and a replacement with Megan being on the board. There's the president position that is vacant. Do we have any motions for the election of the president?
I nominate Jason Taylor for president.
I will second. And then do we need to go, I can't remember, do we need to go by person that you call out for the vote, Kay, or do we need just do a, okay.
We can do that. Mr. Taylor
Yes.
and Ms. Schaefer.
Yes.
Thank you.
Now that I'm in the president role, we'll need to do the vice president role, so I will make a motion to nominate Megan Schaefer as vice president.
I second.
And Mr. Taylor
Yes.
and Ms. Schaefer.
Yes.
Thank you.
Due to Selena not being here and Tony no longer being on the board, we're going to have to move the approval of the minutes to the next Plat Committee meeting. We'll move on to the public hearing. And for PP 21-3 Grantham, in consideration of a primary plat for the Grantham subdivision, the subdivision will consist of 199 single-family lots on 118.75 acres. The subdivision will consist of two sections. Subject property is zoned PUD-R. The petitioner, Kyle Eichhorn, with HWC, as well as, now we have, Jesse's no longer here, but Jonah, you're here to present?
That's correct. Can you hear me? Yeah, okay, sorry, I couldn't tell if the light was on. For the record, Jonah Butler with the City of Fishers Planning and Zoning. The item before you is PP 21-3, the Grantham Subdivision Primary Plat Request.
Is that on the screen?
Oh. For the
Perfect,
record,
thank
no,
you.
it wasn't. Okay, let's start that over. So this is a request for primary plat approval. The petitioner is Kyle Eichhorn. The current zoning is PUD-R and the existing land use is residential and vacant. Okay, it's not touchscreen. It's located broadly in the corner of 113th Street and the Southeastern Parkway. The scope of the plat is a two-district residential subdivision, the executive and family districts. It's 199 lots at 118.75 acres. This is an aerial overview. It's on the eastern half of the city, just under Southeastern Parkway, just north of 113th Street here. These are the proposed site improvements. Notice the executive division up north and the family district down south. The proposed improvements are as so follow. The petitioner will be connecting to all major utilities. The family district will be adding public right-of-way. The executive district will be gated, which will be constructed, of course, to the City of Fisher's construction standards. And UDO Article 10.2.8-D shall apply regarding the conveyance of common areas to the HOA. There have been public comments received regarding UDO 8.47G-2, riparian buffering. Is that section requires a 50-foot buffer from common areas. Staff have made these concerns known to the developer, and as such, the developer has adjusted the plat to reflect these requirements. We would also like to say that we will be working with the developer throughout this project to assure that this concern is kept in mind. Staff recommends approval. It meets all applicable UDO, PUD standards. All TAC engineering and planning zoning comments have been addressed as such. Any questions?
Thank you. I think we'll open it up to public comment here in person. I think everything else was submitted online for anyone that is online watching. Is there anyone here for public comment on this? Please state your name. They have to do their name, address, and then you'll have 2 minutes.
Jason landowner, Roland Schlote, 16501 Southeastern Parkway. I'm a boundary line where the proposed Grantham is. Mr. Rio has been pretty good about coming forward and having communication with him on some issues. I know that they talked about the family district, and somebody might be able to clear this up. 2 things which was addressed. I know that in the requirements that they have to keep that 50-foot adjacent off any waterways that run through there, and there's a creek that runs through there, and it runs through the back of my property, and we've discussed that, Paul and myself, about some other issues. I wasn't real clear during the beginning of this. I noticed it says in their proposal, they talk about section 847, so it's an alternative standard. So I'm assuming that section 847 conservation development pertains to Grantham, correct? I mean, does anybody know that? I mean, because the guidelines are a little different, when you, if it's developed under that particular heading. And so some of the other questions were, I also discussed this, I know that I've been hearing, all the rock hammers and everything going on back there at Welchel Springs for years, and this development will go on and on and on. So I talked to the people who did the core samples, and everybody's aware that there's a lot of rock in there. So I'm assuming that there's no explosive used to, let's say, basements or whatever. I know they're going to do their best to work around that stuff, so I'm assuming that's not to be anticipated during the building process. I know I've heard explosions before back there in Welchel Springs, so, and other people's heard it too, so I'm not sure what your guidelines is on that, and I'm hoping that, that won't happen in the future.
I think am I allowed to respond?
You can, or typically what we do is we take your questions down on letter from the staff will address them after you're done with all the questions.
Okay. And of course, there's quite a few things going on. My understanding is they're going to, I think, develop on the south side before they move to the north side, which would be the gated area. So those are the few questions I had, but specifically it was they've moved the walking trail. I do not have the revised plat. The original plat showed, it's been revised, according to Paul, that the walking trail went across the creek up to my boundary and back down, and it's about a 45-degree grade back there, so it didn't make any sense to even do that. And I don't think you could because of the applicable conservation development. But anyway, he said, yeah, that's been changed, so that walking path is now on the west side of the creek because there's a ravine down there and there's a buffer between me and the development, so I'm assuming that, I haven't seen a revised one, but he was gonna try to get me a copy, but I have not seen it, so.
We'll work on that. And I think also if there's any additional comments that you may want to make, we can take those, you can email them to us or use our form process. We don't want to, we want to make sure that we address everything, all of your concerns. Some of
Right.
them we won't be able to answer here today.
So have you guys received the revised, because the one I got from Jesse this week is the old version. Have you received a revised plat that shows that?
So the plat that we're here tonight to discuss would be the one that was included on the agenda. I can pull that up to see if the path is on the east or west side, but I think the one that Jesse
Yeah,
had emailed to you
I'm
is the one that we're voting on
Yeah,
here
I'm sure
tonight.
Paul said it's been revised, it's just that I didn't get a copy, or, not that it's important, but I just wanted to address, and these.
And we can get you, we can make sure that
Yeah,
you
and
get
I
a
just
copy
wanted
of
to
that.
make sure that was one of my main issues, and I'm sure it's been taken care of, but I just thought I'd try to get, everything that's updated and current, so. So there hasn't been any changes, I guess, in the lot sizes that were proposed. It looks the same. Everything looks pretty basic, the same.
Yeah, so the procedure you're doing that's going on here tonight is the approval of the primary plat,
Right.
which is really just addressing the lot sizes and locations.
Right.
So all the stuff you're talking about with
Those
respect to
tap.
the trails and all that kind of thing like that, that will all be done secondarily platted
Okay.
when they actually have the design set.
Yeah, and those things, I guess when it goes to the engineering, if there's anything that needs to be addressed, they make the corrections needed. So this is just a procedure to say, hey, we're gonna approve this primary. Okay. So, learning process for me, I just wanted to be here and hear it, so.
Yep,
Thank you.
thank you very much. So closing the public comment period. Any questions from the board?
I don't have any questions.
There are no variances, correct? Okay, I think we're gonna need to approve this essentially since there are no variances. Any motions to approve?
I'd make a motion to approve.
I second.
Mr. Taylor?
Yes.
Ms. Schaefer?
Yes.
So approved. I think we are moving on to, is there any old business that needs to be handled? Seeing none. Is there any new business? Nope. All right, then, any findings of the facts? Okay, then can I get a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion.
I will second. Can we do it? All in favor, say? Okay, perfect. Thanks.